Hello, Big Reds. This is Mr. Fischel talking, and today we're starting out with Learning Target 5. I can identify slope and write equations of a line parallel and perpendicular through a point not on the line. Okay, so some of us need a little visual. What do I mean by that? All right, so I'm going to show you. Right here I have a graph paper. Now don't graph this. You don't need to graph this. I just want to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so right here I have a line graphed, and this line has the equation y equals 1/2 x plus 2. So that means its slope is 1/2, its intercept is 0, 2, and I have another point that's not on the line, 5, 1. So here's what I want to do. I want to be able to write the equation for a line that goes through this point right here, and it's going to be parallel to that line. I want to know, what is that equation going to be? I also want to be able to, remember, perpendicular means to intersect at a 90-degree angle. I'd also like to be able to make the equation for a line that goes to this point, and it's going to be perpendicular to this equation. Okay, intersect that line at a 90-degree angle. So I'm just not going to draw that in right here. We're going to do it with algebra. Okay, so let's get started. All right, with all these equations, you're going to start off with an equation in slope-intercept form. So y equals 1/2 x plus 2. So I'm not going to make you put it back in that form or anything right now. Okay, and I have a point that's not on the line. We're going to use that point 5, 1. All right, so first of all, we're going to make something. We'll start off with something parallel to that equation that goes through the point 5, 1. Now this is the part I would like you to write down. So please take notes. All right. So here's how we're going to start, everyone. We're going to start off with y equals mx plus b. All right? I'm going to plug in my y. What is my y? My y is going to be the y coordinate right up here. So see this 1? That's going to go in the place of the y. The slope. Now remember, parallel means it has the same slope, right? And what was the slope of this equation? Well, the slope was 1/2. Okay. So the same slope, it's going to have a slope of 1/2. So in place of the m, I'm going to put 1/2. And the x is going to be the 5 right over here. So I'm going to put in the 5. Now, I don't know what my b or my y-intercept is, so I'm going to leave that as b. All right. Now, I'm going to solve this equation for b, and it's going to help us to write our equation. Okay. So I keep 1 here. I take 1/2 times 5. 1/2 times 5 is going to be 2.5 plus b. All right, finish solving for b. I subtract 2.5 from each side. These cancel out. I'm left with b is equal to negative 1.5. All right. So that's going to be the y-intercept of our new equation. So the equation is going to be of the form y equals mx plus b. All right. And then my slope is going to be 1/2. My intercept is going to be negative 1.5. So this is going to be my new equation. So based on solving this, I know that this equation, y equals 1/2 x minus 1.5, is parallel to this equation up here, and it goes through this point right here. Would you like to see one more of those? I bet you would. So let's show you one more. All right, let's start off with y equals something different. 3x minus 1. Let's say we wanted to go through the point negative 2, let's see, 6. All right, we're going to do the same thing we did before. First of all, let's make it parallel. All right, so that means we use y equals mx plus b, just like before. I'm going to plug in for my y. I'm going to plug in the 6. The m is going to be the same, because this is the slope, so it's going to be 3. The x is going to be negative 2 plus b. Now I solve this. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Right? And I add 6 to both sides. These cancel out, so I have b is 12. So my new equation, this is the form y equals mx plus b. Y equals, our slope was 3, plus our b, or our y-intercept, was 12. So this is our new equation. That's our answer. All right, now, remember the learning target. It says we have to write equations parallel and perpendicular. So that's going to be important. So let's flip the paper over. Let's try to write a perpendicular equation. Let's start with our original one. Original equation on that sheet, remember the sheet right here, is the equation y equals 1/2 x plus 2, and our point was 5, 1. And we want to make something that is perpendicular. Okay, so remember our slope. 1/2 is our slope, right? Well, perpendicular equations don't have the same slope. They have opposite reciprocal slopes. So if I have the slope here is 1/2, to make it opposite reciprocal, I have to flip these two numbers. So it becomes 2/1, and I have to make it opposite. So it becomes a negative. So my new slope is going to be negative 2. That's going to be important. That's what we're going to use now. All right, so now I make my equation y equals mx plus b, just like I did earlier. For the y, I plug in the 1. The m, I now plug in not the 1/2, I plug in the new slope, which is negative 2. The x, I plug in the 5, and plus b. Now I solve it just like I did the first two. Negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. Add 10 to each side. So I'm left with b is equal to 11. So my new equation is the form y equals mx plus b. Y equals negative 2 times x plus 11. And the 11 I got from down here. This is my new equation that is perpendicular to that line. Okay. Notice the only difference from this to the last problem is I took the reciprocal. I flipped those two numbers and I made it opposite. Okay, let's try one more of those. Let's go y equals 3/4 x plus 12. And I want to get to go to the point 0, 7. And I want to make this a perpendicular equation. So I look at my slope, which is 3/4. Okay? All right, take 3/4, and I take the reciprocal, I flip it, so it becomes 4/3 and becomes negative. So this is my new slope is negative 4/3. That's what I'm going to use. So y equals mx plus b is our slope-intercept equation. For my y, I plug in 7. For m, I plug in negative 4/3. For my x, I plug in 0 plus b. All right, so I multiply these together. Negative 4/3 times 0 is 0. In this case, this cancels out, so I have 7 is equal to b. So my new equation is going to be y equals negative 4/3 x plus 7. All right, so let's say you're a skeptic. Let's say you say, Mr. Fischel, I don't agree with you. I think the answer is different. Well, there's a way you can check, and I'm going to show you. This is a cool thing. You could use this on your tests. You can always check to see if you're right or wrong. And if you're wrong, then you can do it again. Get out your wonderful calculators. Okay, and I want to go to New Documents, and I want to add graph. So let's look at that original line we had. So I'm going to put in, it was, let's see, 1/2, 1 divided by 2, x plus 2, right? And I'm going to graph it so we can see what that looks like. Right now, the equation we had that was parallel to, I got to double check, look at my sheet here. We said that the equation y equals 1/2 x minus 1.5 was parallel. So let's put that in. Parentheses, 1 divided by 2 x minus 1.5. Is that parallel to? Looks like it to me. Yep. All right, now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to graph the equation that we said was perpendicular to this. That was y equals negative 2x plus 11. Negative 2x plus 11. And how about that? All right. You can see that was perpendicular. This is parallel. And this is the original equation. And they both go through the point 5, 1. And just to check that, I'm going to go to Menu, Points and Line. I'm going to go to Intersection Point. I'm going to click on the perpendicular equation and click on, the parallel equation, then click on the perpendicular equation. Notice they intersect at the point 5, 1. So we've done it correctly. So if you ever want to check your work, this is a great way to check it. So, all right. So again, that's a recap of our learning target, which was learning target 5. I can identify slope and write equations of a line parallel and perpendicular through a point not in the line. Thanks. Have a great homecoming week, and go Big Reds.